everyone. My name is Morgan Johnson. I am the DEI Communications Coordinator here over at eXp Realty. We're going to be talking today about building bridges, real estate diversity, and MLK's Day of Service. Glenn, do you want to quickly just shout out who you are for us?
Hi there. Hey, Morgan. Thanks so much for having me today. We appreciate it, and we appreciate all you're doing. And for everybody that's watching, we just want to thank you for your participation, your support, and hopefully your ideas, creativity, and work. My name's Glenn Bill. I'm the founder of the University of Attitude. I'm also an eXp broker. Been with eXp for 4 years. Been in the business 35 years. I'm also the founder of the newly formed African American Homeownership Initiative. I just have a passion for DEI and getting the playing field level and giving a voice to those who haven't had a voice and giving some muscle to those people that may feel weak. And I'm an advocate for anybody that's listening to this looking for inspiration, motivation, and action, most importantly. All you got to do is hit me, Glenn Bill at the University of Attitude, and I'm happy to help whoever's watching this right now.
Lauren, if you could start by introducing yourself for our
Hello. Yes, hello. My name is Lauren Coleman. I'm the VP of Brokerage Operations for the East half of the country for eXp. Glad to be here.
And Ian?
My name is Ian Michael, a real estate professional, eXp Los Angeles, a part of the Black eXp network.
Wonderful. We're so glad to have you. So it's the first question. In honor of MLK Day, how can we as realtors and real estate brokerage actively engage in community service and initiatives that address housing needs and promote inclusivity?
Okay. Well, I'll say, first, I'll acknowledge eXp last year when it comes to Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Adding that as one of the holidays that we celebrate at eXp so that staff have that day off, because MLK Day has become synonymous with being a day of service. So it gives staff members that opportunity to participate in those local activities that they may have going on in their area. I would also say that from a brokerage operation standpoint, getting more information out from the broker level on each of the different states, encouraging each agent to get out in their areas to get involved in those service opportunities that are available. And if they find that those opportunities are not available in their areas, it's an opportunity for them to get something started if that's something that they're passionate about.
Yes. So I first would bring up what Martin Luther King was all about, which is equity and inclusion. So in order to best serve, Martin Luther King and his remembrance, I would say let's have a conversation on what that looks like. Real estate professionals of all different races, ethnicities, and backgrounds have different experiences. So there was a stat that I heard not too long ago says that the Black real estate professional makes about 1/3 of the average white real estate professional. And it's just, that stat was just mind blowing to me. It's crazy. And I do have other counterparts that are outside of my race, and they live a totally different life that we live as real estate professionals. So I think the first thing that we need to do is just share our experiences, every side, and then see how we can come together, collaborate, and make it better for everyone. Not just one side, but just better for everyone.
Sure. So, when I saw this question, I thought about something we did. It was maybe 18 years ago. And we went to every public school in our marketplace, private and public actually. And we did what was called the Martin Luther King Orators Experience. And we had young students read the I Have a Dream speech, and we qualified. We actually took a winner, one from each school, and then on Martin Luther King Day, we all actually got in, we went through the speech together. And so, it starts with youth, right? And when you do something for children, then their brothers and sisters watch, their uncles and aunts watch, their parents watch. And so when it comes to community involvement, I believe that the people we need to be really reaching out to, communicating with and engaging with, it's the youth of our community. And if we can involve the youth, then the ripple effect with all those people that love them grows what we're trying to do. So that was one little fun community project. And, obviously those children now are probably 21, 22. Staying in contact with them, which we didn't do a very good job, to be very honest with you. But my guess is, I bet they remembered that experience. I bet that it moved them. And I Googled who was Martin Luther King before he was Martin Luther King, right? And he was just an
Right.
average guy.
Yeah.
I mean, he was, he wasn't from a poor family, but he worked on a tobacco farm and prior to college. But I love the saying, you know what? All dreams start with a with a dream maker. And so if your dream is to help with this question that you just wanted, just like we created the African American Homeownership Initiative, we did the Martin Luther King Orders Survey. It's very, very simple. Just be creative, just have fun and engage the youth. That's really I think, key to what we've done.
That's wonderful. So for the next question we have, in what ways can the real estate industry contribute to breaking down systematic barriers to housing and create more opportunities for individuals from marginalized communities? Ian, let's start with you for that one.
Yes, so I'm also a part of the organization called the National Association of Real Estate Brokers, which essentially started in 1949 because people of color weren't allowed to be deemed realtors, that coin frame realtors. So I'm a part of I'm a part of this program, a part of this group, and what we do to advocate for the underserved communities is we lobby for change. So we're in Sacramento. We are talking to people that are making the laws. We're talking to people that are pushing initiatives, and we're letting them know about what's wrong in the community, what's wrong and just in the real estate market in general, and we're pushing for change. So, of course, the local level is great. We do what we can to spread awareness, but we need to actually move the laws. That's a really important thing.
Glenn, how do you feel about this question? Let's hear your answer.
Yeah, I totally agree. Everything starts with the state legislature. I'll get back to our African American Homeownership Initiative that we're working on. I think it comes down to education first, right? This is all about education. The reason, there's a lot of reasons why Blacks are underserved in home ownership, but I think the biggest one is education, right? And it's finding ways, venues, events, and partnerships to have people included in what's going on. So what we're trying to do is a three-pronged approach. We set a goal to sell 100 African American families or diverse families, however we want to qualify that. 100 homes. Our goal is 100 homes. There's 100 people in your local market that don't know they can own real estate. We need to find them, we need to educate them, and we need to sell them homes. I think it's a great, really, really fun goal. And how you get those people is obviously done through marketing, right? It's through Facebook ads, it's through Google ads, it's through networking, it's through having events. And then, the last thing is simply exposure, exposing people to the opportunities in real estate. So we need to get more diverse real estate brokers. We need more diverse appraisers. We need more diverse inspectors. And so the whole employment apparatus around our industry called real estate is underrepresented. And so the bottom line, it's about education, it's about marketing, it's about one-to-one touch, taking somebody's hand, saying, you need to be in this business, you need to own real estate, you need to start closing the generational gap. And quite honestly, in Indianapolis, it's an atrocity. We had, I don't know, 60 years ago, I mean, we displaced thousands of Black families from downtown Indianapolis and robbed them and their children of generational wealth. And that story needs to be told, because as awful as it is, it's happened.
Yeah.
And people aren't talking about it. So
Yeah.
that would be my answer to that.
Lauren, as the VP of brokerage operations, I know that you have a good answer for this.
Well, I was just saying, and many may not know. So NAR, they also have an initiative where it's to get 3 million African American individuals into homes by 2030. So that's a big push and initiative so that way, if you're kind of wondering, where can I start? Where can I even collaborate with an organization if I don't want to start on my own? You can start there because there's lots of materials available. But then also when it comes to the fair housing, the fair haven housing training, because I do also believe, so from a national level with that initiative, that's a higher, a more broad or higher level expectation or initiative. I also believe it starts with self, and that's anybody, people of color, any individual. We all have our own intrinsic biases, and so I feel like that fair haven training will also help to open your mind to see, like, okay, where have I contributed in underserving those marginalized areas? I can give an example. Um, a lot of times when it comes to lenders, so when it comes to real estate agents, we tend to be that core, that central or core resource when it comes to working with different affiliate partners. And so what's important to us becomes important to them as well, right? So if you have a lender who's wanting to partner with you to generate web leads, right? And so they're like, okay, I'm going to contribute some funds towards this initiative that you're working on because I know you're a great agent, and you're saying, okay, I've purchased lead generation in certain zip codes, different price home ranges, things like that. But then I'm also purchasing leads in this particular zip code where the housing prices are maybe lower, right? A lender may say, like, okay, this is good. I'm going to contribute to this as well. But, maybe you want to rethink investing in this zip code because, the price points are lower, our return on investment may not be as high. That's an agent's opportunity to say, like, okay, well, I'm taking a conscious standard to purposely uh, provide my services in these areas that are underserved. A lot of times it's not that someone's purposely trying to avoid a certain area. It's just they're looking at the dollar, we're business people, right? Looking at the dollars, and it's like, okay, I can, do I want a $1 million listing versus a $30,000 listing? For lenders, title companies, agents, typically that results in a higher commission. And so you tend to, gravitate towards those higher price points. And that's why those areas are called, underserved areas or marginalized areas, because they tend to not get that service. So we want to try to be intentional about, okay, no, I'm not going to turn down that lead, or okay, yes, I am going to invest in that area. If I'm working with developers, like, hey, you're looking for certain properties in certain areas. Okay, are you looking at everything? Here's the pros and cons. So just utilize starting with self as well when it comes to helping with those marginalized communities.
And I think your answer kind of ties into the next question, so I'm going to let you answer. It's how can realtors and at EXP find opportunities to serve as mentors or allies to aspiring professionals from underrepresented backgrounds, helping them navigate and succeed in the real estate industry?
Okay, so well, I will say I have a passion for youth.
Right.
Just like my previous, career before being a real estate agent, youth specialist, working in social services, even with my church, being the ministry leader over the youth. So I love that aspect of it. Go to those local high schools that are in those underserved areas. Connect with the administrators there to see, like, hey, can we get a group like poll the students who's interested in pursuing a career in real estate. I would love to come in weekly, monthly, come into the classes and just kind of educate them on the experience, have them shadow me if possible, because, 18 is when you qualify, as you pass the test and all of that to become a real estate agent. So there's resources there. Partner with local churches in the community where you can get a group going, where you can service adults and youth, put them together. And that's another way to educate the community to be like, okay, this is a another income resource, because let's be real, like when it comes to real estate, you don't have to have a degree to be in real estate. And people who have their high school education or a GED, they can come out making lots of money, becoming very wealthy in real estate without having to go through college and possible debt and things like that. So always
Yeah,
think
that's
about the business. Oh,
that's a good answer.
one other thing, sorry, and one little shameless plug. Now, I'm sure you guys are all aware of our mentor program here at EXP. Now, it is currently being revamped, and we have a newer certification. Kelton Coverdale is actually over that program. There's a new certification process and certification for the mentor program. Whether you want to be a mentor at EXP or you just want to get that training, because maybe you're like, I do want to be a mentor, but I don't know where to start. I don't know what value could I bring. Go through that training. It provides you the materials, sets you up for success. If you want to be a mentor at EXP, there is compensation that's related to that. But then if you don't want to utilize it for that or both, you have that training that you can then share out when you go out into the community. And not everybody's meant to be a mentor. It's a great way to kind of test it out to see if that's good for you. Maybe you're great and you kill it at real estate, but maybe your patience is a little thin. So, it's not for you. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's good to know yourself and what works for you. But there's resources out there.
That's wonderful. Glenn, can you answer that? I know you deal in mentorship yourself. You're muted, by the way. I think you're muted, Bill or Glenn.
Okay, I'm back. Sorry.
You're
Hey
good.
there.
Hello.
I think for the thing of brevity, I'm really proud that we have like 68, I guess let's call it 70 people in my downline, and 1 out of every 3 of those people are African American. And I think it's just real simple. When you see somebody with talent, no matter where they're from or what skin they have, but when you see somebody that's got talent, that has the ambition, and you can feel it in them, then I just think it's your duty to grab them by the neck and say, you know what, it's time. It's your time right now, and we're going to do this. And the people in my organization, they're making money. They're more happy than ever. They're learning things they haven't learned. And I just think instead of walking away from people, instead of saying, well, maybe, put your arms around somebody that you see, especially that doesn't look like you, and say, let's go on a journey together. And I think if that's anybody learned today, and Lauren's unbelievable. She stole all my thunder, but it was good. She's awesome. But I would just encourage anybody that sees this to go find somebody that doesn't look like them, become an inspiration to them, love on them, see the beauty in them, help them understand the network that they have, whether they don't think their network is worth it or not. I promise you there's value in the people they know, and do that. And that's just what I do. I'm a one at a time guy. I mean, we're trying to do bigger things, obviously, but the biggest impact I've seen is when I get one-on-one with people, create a true partnership and help them grow. So that's my encouragement to hopefully everybody that listens today.
That's awesome. Go ahead, Ian. You can answer that as well.
Yeah. I kind of agree with Glenn. Lauren was amazing and very knowledgeable in her answer. She pretty much said it all. I will take it a step further. Not only will you reach out to the youth and have them be educated in everything that's associated with real estate, because you never know, you don't know what you don't know, right? You don't know what you don't know. And a lot of people in underserved communities aren't exposed to what the wealthy do, right? And there's a reason for that. There's a reason why they're in underserved communities, is they're not, like I said, they're just not exposed. So I think that it would be huge for people that are allies to give back to the youth, to the young folks, because the young folks are our future, right? And then we'll take it to a step further, not just the young folks, but just your peer-to-peers. Reach out, branch out, go to different networking events, go to different associations. So and include them. I'm really thankful that Stephanie brought me onto this to represent, what possibly can be done with equity and inclusion. And she's not, of African descent, but she's a part of Black EXP Network. So I really applaud her and I thank you. We need more people like that, more people that are willing to join these African American associations, these underserved communities associations, stepping outside of their comfort zone to give back to the people. And that helps everybody. And that doesn't just help, just the underserved community, but it helps everybody, because everybody can gain that experience, that knowledge, and we can all press forward as a community, as a people, and move upward.
Yeah, that's amazing. I have a mentor. Her name is Erin Holman. She works at EXP, and she actually, like, when I started in the real estate field, she continuously like pushed me to be better and be great, and she didn't judge me because she is white and I am Black. So I think that's huge. Everyone needs an ally, and she's a huge ally for me. So that's great. The next question really,
Can
yeah,
I just say one?
of course.
Just piggyback on what Ian said. The bottom line, I mean, this may sound opportunistic, but DEI is great business. like the fundamentals of doing the right thing. This is one of the few times where you can do the right thing and it actually is unbelievable for your business.
Yeah.
So the opportunity, the growth, the lack of competition, the ignorance of a lot of people that don't know what's going on. To me, it's the biggest opportunity in real estate is to help level the playing field. So I just want to throw that in, guys. If you're looking for opportunity, this is a great place to do it and do the right thing.
Yeah, that's great. That is great. Okay, so for the next question, we're talking about how can we proactively educate and empower unrepresented buyers to navigate the real estate market and make informed decisions about home ownership? Ian, I want to start with you for that question.
Yes, yes. So, how I educate my buyers, the represented buyers, is I have a home buyer seminar. So I frequently do a home buyer seminar where I have people join in. I give the knowledge on how to buy real estate, the process, the procedures, how to close it, and more importantly, how to keep it. How to keep real estate, because we all, as a people, as real estate professionals, we have a bad rep of getting people inside homes and then forgetting about them, right? We have a bad representation. That's why they don't look at us in the best light. But more importantly, it's just education. So what I do is I host home buyer seminars, not only via web, but I also connect with different representations as far as other businesses, because not just because they're making a lot of money or this and that doesn't necessarily mean that they're educated in the avenues of home ownership. We're real estate professionals. We have a license. We are experts in this field. Just because someone makes a certain dollar amount or they're exposed to certain things doesn't mean that they know more than you. You're the real estate professional. I think that we forget that. I think that we need to just focus on that a little bit more on the education part and give back to the people.
I agree. Glenn, what is your answer for this one?
Can you say the question again real quick?
Yeah, so
I'm
as
ADD like every.
no worries, I am too. Uh, how can we proactively educate and empower underrepresented buyers to navigate the real estate market and make informed decisions about home ownership?
Right. So, number one, I think being a member of RPAC and understanding your local RPAC community is huge. I think there's no question it starts with legislation. But the bottom line is there's a lot of incentives now for lower income areas for no money down loans and this type of thing. So I'm working with Chase Bank. Chase Bank, pretty good partner. You can say what you want, but there's a lot of people walking in and out of those doors. They have power, they have money, and they know how to move the ball down the field. And so, I think working with local lenders is one big way. The second thing I would encourage everybody to do is call their local news station and contact their program directors. They're always looking for content. Say that, look, I'm in the real estate business and I want to get the message out about DEI. The bottom line is we need to become local celebrities. We need to make relationships and connections with local news and media people. If you don't think local news wants a DEI story once a week, you're crazy, and you need to do that. And so, it's about amplification. It's about marketing. It's about messaging, obviously. And then it's about economic development, lastly. So if you got the banks on your side, the media on your side, and who else did I just say? I forget the third one. You're going to be able to do some things to educate some folks.
Yeah, that's great. Lauren?
I think this the common theme. It's about education. I can't tell you how many times I've run into even just family members, especially people. I'll say people fresh out of college or younger people, and even older people too. There's a lot of noise out there, a lot of misinformation out there when it comes to the industry, and like, okay, yes, interest rates are up, or like, oh my gosh, I can't buy a house now, even though I have a whole bunch of money saved up. My credit's not perfect, so I can't buy a house. You'd be surprised at um, the picture or the box that people put themselves in, like when it comes to you have to fit these things in order to buy a home. And if I don't fit these things in my mind to buy a home, I don't qualify. So those home buyer seminars that Ian was talking about, those are a great, huge resource, especially in those underrepresented areas, where people partner and do those home buyer seminars. Different brokerages, churches have lenders available there, so that way you're providing them the education, opening their minds up to like, okay, well maybe I could buy a home, and then you have that lender available as well to be able to see, okay, let's see if you can pre-qualify. Especially the importance of having those lenders that do provide down payment assistance. But a lot of people don't realize that they can actually purchase a home. That's the biggest
Yeah.
misconception because of all of the noise and the information out there in the media.
Yeah, that's huge.
Mhm.
So we have for our next question, as real
Hey,
estate
I'm sorry.
professionals.
I'm sorry. I got to just add one thing. One thing
Uh,
that one thing we're really tracking on is helping people. You know, so many people they get evicted, right? It's like bringing those buyers back from eviction to home ownership. That's something nobody's talking about, and we're focusing on that. Um, you know, they're good people. They fell on tough times. There's no reason they shouldn't do it. But once they got an eviction, once they have a bankruptcy, they lose hope, and then they stop learning. And it's we have a mission to help save those people. We call them, getting out of real estate jail, because it's a cycle. It's a never-ending cycle, and you got to help people. And unfortunately, there's not a lot of money in it, but it all starts with getting in the right rentals. And if you're not paying your rent, getting that credit right. I mean, that's just absolutely huge for what we're trying to do. I'm sorry, I had to just throw that in.
no, that's fine. It's perfectly fine. So we want to kind of talk about how, Ian, you are a part of the Black EXP network. So this question will fall to you first. As real estate professionals, how can we leverage our networks, One EXP resource groups, and partnerships to support initiatives that address social and economic disparities within the communities that we serve? And I don't think a lot of real estate agents know about BEN, and I think you should probably talk about that a little bit.
Yes, yes. So BEN, Black Real Estate, Black EXP Network. So we are an advocacy group for the underserved community, the Black real estate professionals. So our job and our role and responsibility is to uplift the Black community and get them, the education, the knowledge that they deserve, and to push our initiatives, what I'm saying, for homeowners equity, I'm saying, equality all through the land. And I think we should do a better job of letting more people know what BEN is about, 100%. But we're a great organization. We're open. We're thriving. We're young, and we're ready to move.
And it's not just for Black employees or Black real estate agents here at EXP, correct?
Correct. It is not just for the Black real estate professional. Like I said, Stephanie, the one who brought me on here, she's not of African descent at all. We have, I think, maybe about 20 to 25% are not Black, but they're allies. They're for the commitment. They're for the movement, and we need that. We need that in order for us to thrive as the Black professional. We need the help of allies, and so what's unknown could be intimidating. I get it, but join in, tap in. Let's talk to you. It's a great network.
That's great. Lauren?
Yeah, I would say so. I know BEN, and I'm part of the network, and I'm in workplace. So for all of those agents that are not in workplace, that's how you get the updates and news, by being a part of that workplace group. And BEN is a part of the One EXP umbrella. So that's an opportunity where, so again, if you're not a member of the One EXP group as well, go on and join that. When you have different initiatives that are going on in your local areas, different opportunities where other fellow agents at EXP may want to get involved, drop that information in those chats. That way we can get involved. So that way it's just like, okay, this is going on, I want to be a part of that. Or like, hey, how can I help contribute towards it if I can't be there physically? So the first step is joining those groups. So if you were not aware of them, make sure you get into workplace. Not all of our agents are in workplace, so that's the first step there too. But those are great initiatives. I know even in February, BEN, where there's going to be the I can't remember the exact terminology for it, but it's in celebration for Black History Month. It's going to be an in real life event in Texas, like during mid-February. So looking forward to that as well. But you get all those news and updates via workplace through those different organizations.
Yeah, shameless plug. Currently, the DEI team is working on the Black History Museum that will be in frame. So we're taking a lot of pride and a lot of time with that. So that'll be amazing for everyone to see once Black History Month comes. Glenn, if you could give your 2 cents about that.
Yeah, I'm a member of BEN as well. I'm extremely honored that I was chosen as a nominee to be the Ally of the Year for the BEN and its first inception. Didn't win, but that's okay. It ain't about winning. It's about continue to win. So anybody who's watching this, grab somebody that doesn't look like you and let's get into this. It's a passion of mine. It's something that we're going to do. We're going to sell 100 homes to African-American buyers that don't know that they can do it. And I'm just going to keep pushing that. Every single market, I challenge you, find 100 people who don't know they can buy a home and sell them a freaking home. Get them with a lender. Get everybody on the program and let's do it. I mean, just imagine if we had 10 agents at EXP do that in their communities. That's 1,000. That's 1,000 rights that we're making. So love BN, love what they do, love their leadership, and I'm honored to be on the call with you guys. You guys are all special people, and I hope I'm able to help you. I'm always here for you. Whatever you need, just let me know.
Thank you, Glenn. Okay, so we're nearing our last couple of questions. The next one is, in what ways can real estate agents utilize their local influence to address issues of housing inequality and advocate for affordable housing options? Glenn, we're going to start with you.
Well, I mean, the simple answer is economic development. We continue to go there, but when you talk about your personal influence, right? Number one, you need to take an inventory of who you know. Number two, you need to take an inventory of who you need to know, and then you need to go meet them. And then you need to talk about your initiative to help 100 people who don't know they can own. And then you have to have the proper community banking. Look, it's all about the money. We got to have the money. The money's got to be there. And we need to educate people on how to get the money. And we need to educate lenders on why it's good to give it. And so we have, Indiana Housing Neighbor Partnership. I'm sure everybody in every state there's 5 or 6 different organizations that do this. The question is, do you know them? And if you don't know them, it's time to investigate, become engaged. I think the help is out there. And quite honestly, it's people like us. There's an underserved community, but us as leaders, we're underserving all the opportunities that are out there. I think there's more help and more support for what we're trying to do that is available, but we're all so busy we don't have time to do it, which I get. But I promise you, the consciousness is more aware now than ever, and the person with initiative and an entrepreneurial mind is going to be able to find those opportunities and change the direction of their career, become a local celebrity, and create impact like they've never seen before.
Ian?
Yes, and so whenever I hear the word influence, I hear a thought leader, right? So we listen to thought leaders, we listen to influencers because we gravitate towards them, right? If we don't know what they're about, how are we going to get behind a movement? I think that's the very first thing, is letting people know what you're about. Because like I said, if you're a person of influence, then you're able to move people. People are able to gravitate you, understand, you know what I'm saying? But also too, what you say might be the same thing as what someone else says, but they hear it differently, right? Lauren's amazing. She may be able to say one thing, right? And then I say the same thing, but people don't necessarily get it the way I say it, but the way that Lauren says it, like, oh wow, that's amazing. That sounds great. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So you as a thought leader, you as an influencer, speak up. Let people know what you're about. Let people know what you're advocating for. And the same thing, kind of what Glenn was saying, reach out to your partners, talk to them, let them know what you're about. See who they know that can help with the movement. Don't just keep this a secret. You know what I'm saying? Reach out to people, talk about it, let people know what you're about. I think that's the biggest thing, is just speaking out loud.
Yeah, that's great. Lauren?
Yep. So I would say, every city, has their 10-year, 5-year, 1-year strategic plan, right? Where they're gathering, they have their budget from your tax dollars, and they're trying to figure out where to best put those dollars. Where will those dollars be best served for the community? And in most cases, they put out opportunities to the stakeholders in that community to come out and give their input. Tell us what you feel your community needs in order to, improve or to be better, to be more served. And so you want to take advantage of those opportunities. And you're probably wondering, like, okay, well, how would I know this is going on in my city? Good old friend Google. Go in and Google, like, use keywords like your city's, housing department and community development or something like that. Google that kind of information and you'll see the city plans that pop up. If they've already met and done the strategic planning for that 5-year period or 10-year period or 1-year period, they tend to still have regular meetings going on. Don't consider those as like boring city meetings. Go and attend those meetings. That's how you can get involved personally. And then you can share your experience on your social media. Other people, your network will see what you're doing. They may be interested and get involved as well as you just reaching out in general. But that's the best way for the public and for the community to have their voices heard to help guide what changes are made in that city based on those developments. And I would also say, as an agent specifically, we in my county, it was that time to have the property taxes reassessed,
Mhm.
and the past couple of years, we've been noticing like an outrageously high increase term over term, right? This past time, it was so high, it was like in the news. And so people were seeing their property taxes increase by 30, 60%, even 100%, as in double what their property taxes were the previous term, right? So the
Mhm.
real estate community got together and had little seminars all around the city where it gave people the opportunity to come in, get educated on the process on how to um, dispute. I don't know any other way to say it, but dispute the valuation and
Mhm.
provide, the agents were there with computers to provide those members of the communities with a CMA or comps, which is something that was required if you wanted to dispute your property tax assessed value with the city. You had to have either an appraisal, which we know appraisals can cost $400. Who can afford that necessarily, right?
Right.
Or some kind of CMA. And then most people's like, I don't know where am I going to get this? And so the real estate community saw it. And actually, they didn't say CMA, they said an appraisal. Real estate community recognized, like, you don't need an appraisal. It can be a CMA, and we can give that to you for free. So they were popping up all over the city, brokerages, agents from all kinds of different entities. It's not like, oh, it's just the EXP thing. This is something that everybody lobbied together in an effort to help serve the community, and it went over really well. So that's ways that you can use your abilities, your access to things that the regular people, normal unlicensed individuals don't have access to, like the MLS, things like that, to use that service for good.
That's wonderful. So
Hmm.
we're going to end this last question with the both of you. Glenn had to step out. He had another meeting. So considering the historical disparities in property ownership, what strategies can real estate professionals employ to bridge the wealth gap and promote economic equality in the communities we serve? And Lauren, since your answer kind of, was a part of this, you can answer.
Yeah. It makes me think of, when it comes to property ownership and just the availability out there. So, like, I think about, when it comes to affordable housing. So, like, let's say when it comes to your connections with developers, builders, et cetera, and utilizing that influence to encourage, like, provide some affordable housing in the mixed in with the developments that you have. So I think the newer term is mixed income communities or mixed income housing, where it's, you can have really high end properties, you can have really nice lofts, but it's affordable living, regular single family homes. There's been studies out there where um, um, shows that how mixed income, not just affordable housing, but mixed income communities have the biggest impact when it comes to servicing those marginalized areas. So, like, for example, a student in an underserved area, when they go to the grocery store, because that grocery store is also available, they don't have to drive, several miles out to get to the nearest grocery store, or maybe they don't have transportation and they have to do public transportation. It doesn't go that far out. It's like having these mixed income communities helps to um, provide a solution for that. But it's like, okay, they go to the grocery store and they run into their teacher or their doctor. You know what I mean? Different. So people from mixed backgrounds when it comes to socioeconomic status, um, being able to live in that same space, having those mixed income communities, I feel is a great approach to that.
Ian, you want to follow up on that one?
Yes, yes, I love it, Lauren. I love it. There's two ways that we can make this thing happen. Number one is affordable housing, kind of like what Lauren said, and I love the idea of the mixed communities. So we don't want to get back to the redlining where we'll have affordable housing just in one area. Like that's not the
Hmm.
point. We want to integrate it with everyday regular people that can afford other houses, but also just want to give those underserved communities a chance to be involved, to be included in any and everything that those marketplaces have to offer. The better grocery stores, the better gyms, the better schools, like all
Yeah.
that stuff. We want to once again promote inclusion. The second thing is education. If people don't know that they're able to buy a home, or people don't know all the special programs that can help them buy a home and help them keep a home, then that's what are we doing? Right?
Hmm.
What are we doing? That's going to
Hmm.
push the initiative even farther is education. And I'm a big fan of shock and awe education too, and forecasting. So I don't know if you guys are familiar, maybe you are. So there is a study called Road to Zero Wealth, which talks about the Black community, not just the Black community, it talks about just different ethnicities and races, and how they're associated with wealth. So the median income for the Black household, the median, right, is set to hit zero. We're going backwards, set to hit zero, they said, I believe, in 2049. Zero, right? And what is some of the hugest factors to wealth? Home ownership. Home
Hmm.
ownership. So we have to tell these people, like, hey, what does it look like if you can't pass your home down to your children? What does it look like if you can't afford this specific area? Do we have to move out of the state, move out of the city? That's totally fine. Do we have to move out of the country? Like, it's we're getting there.
Yeah.
It's sad if we don't change our trajectory. We're getting to that point, and I don't think people understand that. I think people understand, or people look at things like in the now, like, hey, here's what a week looks like, a month looks like, maybe a year. They don't know what it looks like 5 years, 10 years. And we have to correct the action today so we can change our future and what it looks like.
Yeah, that's huge. I'd have to agree. My mom, she bought our family home when I think I was like 3 or something, and she was just young single Black woman buying a property, and we still have that property today. And constantly realtors knock on the door, "Hey, we want to buy your house. Hey, we want to buy your house." But no, we're going to keep this one in the family. So I'm thankful that she at a very young age decided that real estate was going to be our family's form of wealth, because now she's just purchasing homes, and she's building up my family's generational wealth. So what you guys say, it's spot on.
Yeah.
And I don't mean to cut you off, but
No,
I
you're
have
good.
a whole spiel to talk about what you just said right there, as far as selling grandma's house. So I'm in Los Angeles, and where property values are skyrocketed, and especially in the underserved communities where outside outside people are coming in, like, hey, you know what, this is a great property, this is a great neighborhood, I want to move back here, right? So it's
Hmm.
pressing up the housing prices, sky high, unfortunately. And then we as Black people in those specific communities are like, hey, why would I pay 800,000 for grandma's house when she bought it for 200,000 and the
Right.
neighborhood looks like this, right?
Yeah.
So we have inside of our community that
Yeah.
that in us, you know what I'm saying? Like, why would I do that in my own community? I want to live in Beverly Hills. I want to live in
Right.
this and
Mm.
that. I don't want to live in Compton, or the South LA, where it's changing our communities in a bad way,
Hmm.
unfortunately. You know what I'm saying? The communities no longer look like us, and that's why I said earlier they're pushing us out to different cities, different counties, different states, which is all fine. Home ownership is home ownership. Whatever you get in where you fit in. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Get in where you fit in. But we just have to realize what's happening. And I just think that we as a people, we need to be better at buying in our own community and keeping it in house and not selling grandma's house unless you're selling to buy more property and more
Right.
investments. Then that makes it okay. But,
Mhm.
keeping it in house. So I'm really happy that you're doing that, you and your family, Morgan. We need more of that in our community.
Yeah,
And
100%.
That actually, so when Ian mentioned earlier about the importance of keeping the property, it makes me go back to that whole tax assessment situation where, in most cases, people have mortgages on their properties. So the taxes increasing by 30%, 60%, double, that could be the
Hmm.
difference between someone being able to keep their home. Because
Yeah.
especially if they're living paycheck to paycheck, so it's different strategies that are somehow sometimes put out there in order to um, result in people losing their properties in order to, to basic gentrification, things like that.
Yeah.
We all know it's real, right?
Yeah.
So that's where it's like we as real estate agents, Black, people of color, white, it doesn't matter, can get together to help provide our resources, our professionalism, our influence to keep things like this from happening. We want to make sure things are equitable for everybody.
Yeah, that's great. And I'm so glad that all of you could join us today. Lauren, just to give you your flowers real quick with a tiny little story. When I first joined EXP, it was around the time that you were promoted, and I was so elated to see another Black woman be promoted to such a high position. So I want to thank you for keeping me
Oh.
going and keeping me motivated. I'm like low key one of your secret admirers. So thank you so much.
Oh my gosh, thank you, Morgan. Oh my
Yeah,
God,
of course, of course. I wanted to let you know that before we ended the call.
that's so
And again, thank you both and also Glenn for joining us today. We're gonna go ahead and end the stream. This is my first time doing a moderation, so I don't really know how to end. So I'm just gonna
oh.
say everyone have a wonderful day, and we'll talk to you soon.
Okay.
Drop that slide for me.